Hello, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day thus far. I am Zaben, and I'm here to introduce myself. I come from a very well-off family. I've lived in many countries around the world. I've experienced many different cultures, many different schooling systems, and I've met an abundance of people around the world. Now, from a young childhood, my parents had a few issues. And these issues, I felt that I was completely responsible to solve for them. As a young child, I was like, oh my God, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. So I spent a lot of my time trying to figure out relationships in human psychology and what would work best for two people to live in the same house or get along. And while I was doing all this research from a very young age, let's say the earliest I started, which was 12 years old, I'd start like reading things and looking into things and watching and observing people and really listening to how everybody's talking. And I had this obsessive compulsive behavior where every time I would see a couple that looked happy, I would go and ask them, what's your secret? And so I started getting all this information from a really young age. And the way people think was of great interest to me. But at the time, I had no idea that this was the career path that was my calling, because it wasn't time for me yet. And so I ended up loving doing interior design. I wanted to become an interior designer and decorate people's homes to give them the best home environment to live in. And this was my main thing. I thought if I fixed people's homes, then I would fix their relationship and people would be happier in their homes. And so I got into this career path and I went and I studied interior design and I worked as an interior designer for 15 years. I loved every minute of it. It was everything I liked. I'm a workaholic and I aspired into becoming the best interior designer. I worked in multinational companies. I worked in small companies. I met a variety of people. I worked in many different countries. I had a lot of experience in it. And then I opened something on my side next to my work called intuitive design, where I would meet the couple that needed to renovate their home or make a new home, and I would actually ask them like 3 pages worth of questions about their relationship and how each one was separately, and once they married, how it was like, and in hopes that I would ignite back the love between them and the good memories, and in hopes that each one would listen to the other person explaining exactly who they are, so that they would go into acceptance, and through that I would know how to design the house. And this was something I loved extremely, because then I was designing a house according to what each one liked, finding the common grounds and finding what each one liked and developing their home according to that. So I had such a great passion for interior design. And then something drastic happened. I got married to someone, and in my marriage, it was a terrible marriage. Okay, so I married a narcissistic abuser, and in that, it shook up every part of who I am. My confidence. I was a very happy-go-lucky person. I had a lot of confidence. I never thought that I lacked any self-confidence. I was quieter. I was not as talkative. I would listen a lot more to other people. Most of the time, that's what I did. I just sat and I listened and absorbed. And once I got into this relationship, the destruction I went through was immense. I mean, it broke everything, and all my beliefs and all my self-confidence went down the drain. And luckily, 8 months into it, due to luck and God, my time was up in the marriage, and I asked for a divorce and actually went through, and I hadn't had any kids from him. And that was the worst few years of my life. I went through deep depression. I was suicidal. I felt ugly. I felt horrible. I felt idiotic. I had lost myself completely during that period of time with this person. I went seeking help on how to. I still had my interior design. I was still working. That was where I was getting all my self-fulfillment and my confidence, because I was the only place that he couldn't break because he wasn't there with me. So I had my confidence there, but I was broken everywhere else. I couldn't socialize with people. I kept telling myself, nobody loves me, I'm not worthy. Well, this man married me and saw my ugly side. It must be true. I must be a horrible person. I'm not worth living. And people were starting to get sick of my depression. Close friends would be like, oh, just get over it. And nobody was empathizing. And I'm like, oh my God, even my friends are getting sick of me. So what he said was true. And it was a cycle of doom. And then so I started seeking outside help, which I had never done before. So I went seeking for outside help for myself, and I went to many different therapists. I went to so many therapists, so many different type of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, CBT, you name it, I did it, I tried it. And the only thing that actually worked for me was something at the time that I didn't know what it was called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic-Programming. And when I read about it on the internet and I Googled it, I was like, this is really amazing, because it's not going to take me back to the past. And I had a problem now. I was suicidal now. I was depressed now. I was sad. I was insecure now. And I couldn't stay there anymore. I needed to stop. I needed to move forward, not go all the way back and spend years figuring this thing out. I wanted it to end now. And NLP was saying that what they do is they talk and change the language in your head so that you can get immediate results. And I said, bingo, that's what I want. So I went and I took my NLP, and it was spectacular. It worked out a lot of different issues I was having. It worked out on changing the language that I have and the belief that I had in myself. And in the process, of course, due to how broken I was, the suicidal thoughts disappeared. My self-confidence boosted up a little bit more. I was still a bit shaky. But in time, I was a lot better. I was like, this is what I want to do. And I went and I studied it. So I did it I was still working as an interior designer in a massive company, but I was taking these courses on the side. I wanted to offer this to others. I wanted to give them something that would work so well the way it worked for me. And so I started studying that. Usually in all the jobs that I've worked in, for some odd reason, people always come and share with me their deepest, darkest secrets. And due to the fact that I am an extremely good listener, and that is one of the gifts that I have. I'm able to hear the behind scenes. I can see what their subconscious mind is speaking. I can see their fears. I can see their limiting beliefs, which are words I didn't know at the time. But this was a talent I'd had since childhood, and I didn't know that I had that gift. It would just happen that they would come and I would give them advice according to an intuition that would come to me. I would get this vision, I would get intuition, and I'd be able to guide them into the right direction. And so when I took this career path into something more serious, I found that this was really where my passion lied. I loved interior design, I still do completely. I still do it for fun now. But I had this immense passion to offer people a calmer state of mind and confidence, which was something I had tasted for the first time on how horrible it feels to feel like broken in front of people, to feel that you're not up to standard, to wait for other people's approval. Because I would go around and be like, look what happened. I was a complete victim. Look what happened to me. Oh my God, he did this to me. He did this to me. Poor me. This has never happened before. And I was in a victim state because all I wanted was empathy and sympathy from others. Okay? I wanted to be validated for what I was going through. I needed so much validation from others that others started getting sick of me. I started getting sick of me because it just wasn't me. I just couldn't stop. And that was because there was so much negative thought. My language was so negative and detrimental to me that it had to change. And that is when I realized this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I will do interior design on the side. I will help my friends and my family members. If anybody needs something, I'll do that on the side because I still love it, and I still I get obsessive. I can't leave the house in the same state for too long. I'm like, oh no, look, the couch's got to change. And luckily today I'm married to somebody who's an architect and an interior designer. He's phenomenal. And so this is what we do together for fun. And that is a blessing. Make sure you marry someone who's got a very similar career path where you've got a common language together. Makes a big difference. So going forward from where I was saying, it's really, really a blessing to have somebody come and fix you on the spot, figure you out on the spot. And this is where I come in. And this is what I love the most. It just brings serenity and joy to my heart. And this is what I know my purpose is. And at the time, I was and I still am very much about empowering women, because to me, women have so much glory in them. Yet in the world we live in today, they're constantly pushed down and not recognized for the wonderful person and people that they are, and the wonder that they can do on this earth and what they do already. They're mostly the ones that have a lot of insecurities, a lot of issues. They're not confident about who they are. They've been put down, or they've been told that they have certain obligations that they have to do that are probably not the right obligations for them, and they've been always repressed and oppressed. So my real source of happiness is when I free those women to see themselves in a more confident way, and then start being able to show kindness and receive kindness the right way. You know, and that's all we need to do is show kindness on this earth. Like Wayne Dyer says, I love that about him, where he said, I can choose to be kind or I can choose to be right. And I will always choose to be kind. Right is the ego. I need to be correct, just so I can feel good about myself. I can feel good about myself. And to be kind, you're offering someone else to feel good about themselves. But you're saying, I'm choosing to be a kind person. I don't need to feed the angry ego that I have. I'm choosing to be kind to the world and show kindness. And that will come back to me. My passion is finding other people's purpose. Because without a purpose in life, I realized a lot of people are lost on this earth. They don't want to wake up in the morning. They have no reason to. They're not excited about their day. They don't look forward to things about their life because they have no purpose. They're not looking forward to anything. They don't have a reason why they live on this earth. And to have a reason why you live on this earth is one of the most important things. And it took me 30 years to find it, although I was doing it since I was a child. And I had been put in situations where I was forced into becoming the person I am today. I just didn't recognize it then. And if it wasn't for NLP, I wouldn't have recognized that this is what I needed. And if it wasn't for my first marriage, I wouldn't have recognized the feelings and emotions of depressed people, sad people, negative people, victimized people. I wouldn't have understood these emotions and looked for help to solve them. And now that I know how they're solved, and I know the difference between feeling this way and feeling this way today, I can tell you that it's a world of a difference, and it's all in the language you use in your head. And therefore, this is why I embrace NLP to fix the problem at hand, okay, due to whatever is in the past. But it's not a lifelong process. It's a process because it's just like, ooh, opening up, and I can completely hear what is happening in the subconscious from your body work, from what is actually in your head that you're not saying. I can sense it, and therefore I can ask all the right questions to trigger it so that you can start seeing it. And that's what I do for a living. Okay? And for today, if you can do this for me, if for today you can actually start just saying, it's a lovely day today. I feel lucky today. There's a lot of luck in my life today. I feel lucky today. And just repeat that all day. And see how you feel about anything that happens. So even if it's a negative thing, you're going to feel lucky about it. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so lucky that there was traffic today because, and then you'll know the answer. So if you say that, it's just changing the way you think, okay, for whatever situation that happens. You can either choose to be negative about it or you can choose to be positive about it. And this is where I come in. I'm wishing you a fabulous day, and I will see you on a Mind Tweak. Can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye. Take care.